And I know that this particular topic, which is mostly, and this particular thing, which is mostly asked in interviews, and most of the students are not aware. Bootstrap is very easy. Like it's just a fancy word, but trust me, guys. Like once you listen to me, and then if you go through all these slides, once I make you learn about some topics in Bootstrap, so you'll be very confident in using Bootstrap and then answering any questions. Okay, so let's start with this session. So, like before starting, like I'll brief you about the agenda which we'll be covering today. So today I'll be covering like what Bootstrap is, what Bootstrap CDNs are, what are the versions available, how you'll be able to use Bootstrap in your HTML programs. Okay, and then what are hyperlinks? This is just an easy one. And then there are many components in Bootstrap, guys. So there is like more than 1,000 of components available in Bootstrap. So what I'll do today is like I'll just give a brief overview about two components, which is grid and flex in Bootstrap. Okay, so let me start with what Bootstrap is. So guys, Bootstrap is the most popular CSS framework. We all know that CSS is cascading style sheets, and it will mostly add a styling element to my HTML program. Okay, so what Bootstrap does, it provides a CSS and a JavaScript framework for developing responsive and mobile first websites. Okay, so as we see, like in Chrome also we have different versions, so similar to that, and for any applications we'll be having versions. So similar to that, Bootstrap also has certain versions. Okay, so the current version of Bootstrap which is available in market is Bootstrap 5. And the most important thing in Bootstrap, it is a free front end framework for faster and easier web development. So we all know, right? So if we want to use some fancy things in market, so mostly they'll charge us for something. For example, if you want to use GCP, Google Cloud Platform, if you want to use Azure, so obviously, for example, if you create any kind of virtual machine therein, so it will ask you to pay some dollars, or $1, $2, or 100 rupees per hour for that instance to be launched on Google Cloud Platform. But in Bootstrap, there's nothing as such. It is freely available. Any web developer who is willing to use or embed Bootstrap features, it is easily available to anyone in the market. It's just like HTML. There are 2-3 lines which you have to embed in your program. So today what I'll do is I'll teach you both the things: how to use Bootstrap using a normal notepad, something like this, how you'll be able to use Bootstrap in such scenarios just in your notepad. You just have to import some CDNs, and how you'll use Bootstrap while installing that actual application. Okay, and then Bootstrap includes HTML and CSS based design templates for typography, forms, buttons, navigations. So we all know, right, how to create an HTML form. It will just have some text boxes, it will have some labels, it will have some drop downs, it will have some multiple option buttons. So similar to that, Bootstrap brings you some ready to made templates to be used in your program. Okay, so what will happen if, like for example, if you want to make a vegetable for yourself. So for example, if vegetables are not chopped for you, so you'll get it ready-made also. Like nowadays, we have all the ready-made chopped and peeled vegetables available in market. So similar to that, if you'll import a Bootstrap component in your HTML program, it will give you all the ready-made features. So for example, if you want to have a navigation bar in your program, or if you want to have a scroll bar, something like this, or if you want to have this kind of component like scrolling effect or all those things in your Bootstrap program. So what it will do is you just have to select a right component from the Bootstrap page, and then you'll be able to use it very easily. So going ahead, and also guys, there's one important component. So for example, if you're building a particular website, okay, so if you're not using Bootstrap, so if you just try to see any code of any particular newly launched website or any old website also, so if you try to see those websites, I don't know if people are following me or not. Let me just get a confirmation. Guys, am I like you're liking my speed, or you want me to go a bit slow, or how it is? Is my voice or is my pace understandable to all of you? Because this is a very important topic which I thought of covering.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ramya. Okay, guys, just make sure that you're listening it with both of your ears open, because it's very important topic for all of you. Okay. Okay. So let me continue. So what will happen, guys, is I just lost my pace. Okay. Where I was. Let me open the presentation. Yeah. So what Bootstrap will do is it will give you the ability to create a responsive design. Okay. So what I was talking next was, so for example, if you're viewing any kind of website, okay, So for example, let's say you're opening flipkart.com, okay? So even if nowadays your TVs are and your tablets are having what do we say, they are Wi-Fi enabled, and you will be able to open flipkart.com in your televisions as well. Run nowadays you'll be able to see in your tablets also, okay? So if you see the screen and the pixel size of your television or your phone, it will vary, right? For example, for your phone, your screen would be a smaller screen, and for a television, it would be a bigger screen, okay? So what Bootstrap does is it makes sure that your website looks in a similar fashion at all the platforms. So there is this particular component available, which is grid and flex, which makes sure which like embeds to the programming thing that your website will look in a similar fashion, even if you're opening on Samsung Galaxy, or if you're opening on an iPhone, or if you're opening on a larger screen, which is tablet or a TV, okay, or any kind of larger screens, or even on a presentation mode. So it makes sure that your application looks in a similar fashion, like how it is looking on your phone, or your any mode you're viewing onto, okay? So let me just tell you what and why Bootstrap is, why people mostly prefer Bootstrap. Okay, so as I told you, it is easy to use because all the components of Bootstraps are easily available. You just have to copy and then paste it in your HTML program. Okay, and then it is responsive. So like as I told you, it is responsive because it makes the eyes feel good. Like if you see your website on any platform, you will see that it's looking in a similar fashion. It is a mobile first approach. In Bootstrap, mobile first styles are part of the core framework. So there are ready to made templates and everything available. I'll be telling you how to use that in your codes as well today. And then we have browser compatibility. So for example, Bootstrap is compatible on all these browsers, for example, Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari, Opera, anything. But it does not support Internet IE Explorer, which is 11 and down. You must be either using BS4 or BS3. Okay, so BS3 and BS4 are nothing but the Bootstrap versions. As I told you, the current version is Bootstrap 5. Okay, so let's move ahead. So before coming into this page, I'll just show you how Bootstrap actually looks like. So what you guys have to do is, you have to go on your Chrome and you just have to search Bootstrap. Okay, just open this much, get bootstrap.com. okay, so this is the official Bootstrap page, and from here all our Bootstrap operations will begin into. Okay, so as you can see here, as I told you, builds fast responsive sites with Bootstrap. And then it is a powerful, extensible and feature packed with front end tool. So if anybody asks you how you will embed Bootstrap in your program, so there are two ways available here. Okay, the first way is you can install it via package manager. Okay, the first would be you can just open your command line and then use npm. Npm is nothing but node package manager, and then from therein you can install this current version, which is 5.3.3. okay, and therein after you install, it will work normally. You can run any programs, which I'll show you. Okay, and then the second way is, if you want to run any Bootstrap program, you don't want to just install it and waste your memory or any such thing. If you just have to import these two CDNs available on this page. You can see here, right, include via CDN. CDN is nothing but a content delivery network. So what you just have to do is, I think it is visible, you have to just click on copy to clipboard. Okay, and then in the header section of your HTML program, just go and copy paste this, and you are just a way nearer to use Bootstrap in your HTML programs. You just have to include this CDN. This is the first page, this is the first CDN, this is the second CDN. So what it would do is, if you just look at the CDN, it links an href to https cdn jsdeliver.net npm bootstrap @5.3.3, which is the current version. Okay, so once you'll use it, you know what hyperlink will do. So if you're embedding any kind of links in your HTML program, it's something like a clickable link. It will become. Okay, so what it does is, it will just copy paste. It will just try to link this to the to the package manager available in Bootstrap. Okay, so this is the current version 5.3.3, and then in our CDN also you can see we are just using the current version, which is 5.3.3. Okay, so if you use it in the header section of your program, Bootstrap will be linked to your HTML code, and then from there on, you will be able to use all these features available. Okay, so for example, let's say let me see who is there in the meeting today. So for example, if Ramya or if Sneha or if anybody here wants to, let me just open this. If anybody, okay, so if you'll go on to this page, what you have to do is you have to click on docs. Okay, so once you click on docs here, you'll see lot of customization available. Okay, so let's see Ramya, if Ramya wants to use this drop down. Okay, so if she wants to have a drop down button, something like this single button in her HTML code, so what you'll do is you'll just start on writing plus this effect plus this drop down other action, and these things you will not get, right? So you'll have to write entire code for this. But in Bootstrap, after you have imported all the CDNs which I just showed you, you just have to copy paste this code and then paste it in your HTML program anywhere, in div section or in any section of your code. After you copy paste it, you run it. I'll show you also, like I'll be doing some 2-3 labs on how you'll copy paste and perform. So once you copy paste this, you'll be able to see something like this drop down button. Okay, so let me show you one example. What you have to do is you just have to Control C. You have to open your notepad. So for example, I'm pasting here in this div section of my HTML code. I'll paste Control V, Control S, and then this code is example1.bootstrap. I'll go to my file. I'll just run it. Okay, so you can see here, right, in example 2, I pasted this drop down button and I'm easily able to use this particular component in my HTML code. Okay. And then also, like as I told you, if you're not using CDN, it will not you'll not be able to use Bootstrap. Okay, so if you can see here how let me just forget the theory part, let me just concentrate here on the program first. Okay, so what I'm doing here is, everybody is aware of this, right? We write doc type HTML. Here I'll show you each and every line of my code and what it means. Okay, so we know HTML, this is an HTML header tag. Okay, we have header tag, then we are writing Bootstrap. So if head opening is there, head closing would be there, right? So in the header section of my program, what I'll do is I'll just go here. Where is this page? Let me just duplicate this. Let me just open Bootstrap again to go to the home page so that I'll get the CDN. Hit enter. Just go down, copy this particular thing, copy this particular thing. Okay, paste this in the header section of your program. If you can see here, what I have done is I have done similar to this. I have just pasted those two things here. Okay, see, these are the two CDNs which I pasted from the official page. The time when I wrote this program was the version was 5.1.1. So what I'll do is I'll remove this. I'll do Control V. Okay, I guess I just copied it in a wrong way. I just have to copy it one by one. Control C. What I'll do is I'll remove this first. What I'll do is, after my title, I'll paste the first CDN first and then the second CDN. Okay, I'll just hit enter. I'll just do this. Okay, and then what I'll do is, this is my first CDN which I imported from the Bootstrap page. This is my second CDN which I imported, and as I told you, the version was 5.3.3. Okay, so I've imported these two versions in the header section of my program. Okay, and all these things I'll explain you because I haven't covered the slides. And then you'll just have to, any particular thing you want to use here, any particular, so for example, Sneha or Ramya or anybody, if you want to use a scroll bar, okay, if you want to have a navigation bar, or if you want to have a drop down. So what Bootstrap does is, Bootstrap is a mixture of JavaScript and CSS. Okay, so what it will do is, it will provide you ready to made codes available on those pages. You can just edit it. So for example, if the color of stop presenting button is blue, okay, so what it will do is, you can even change the color to green, but the fonts, everything like templates, everything would be readily available here. You just have to see, for example, if you want to create a list group, something like this. Okay, you just have to copy paste this. Okay, nav bar. So for example, if you want to have a navigation bar in your code, what you have to do is, you just have to copy paste this entire code in your program, and then you'll be easily able to create a navigation bar in your HTML codes. So you see, right, how advantageous is Bootstrap is. Guys, you're able to see the advantages of Bootstrap here, right? How easy it is and how web development has been emerging these days. and then we are having all those ready-made things available for all of us. Ramya, am I understandable, or Sneha, were you able to understand the basic on how to import the CDNs and how to use the components of Bootstrap page?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me move ahead now. So see, this particular slide, I guess I explained. What you have to do is you just have to go to this official website of Bootstrap page, getbootstrap.com. From therein, just try to import the CDNs. Okay, import those two CDNs in your web page, or you can, even if you want to explore using the install manager, which is npm, or you want to use their application, you can freely use it. But I just prefer, for testing purposes, we can perform all those operations on a single notepad as well these days. Okay, so these are the two latest compiled JavaScript and compiled and minified CSS available on getbootstrap.com. So once this is done, I'll tell you what Bootstrap containers is. So in cloud also we have containers, but this container is a bit different from cloud. So what it will do is, so for example, whenever we are writing a program, okay, so for example, whenever we are filling something, or if you bring something from the market, we try to fill it in a container, right? So similar to this, you can imagine this container is what it will do is, so for example, you've bought in some sugar from the market and it's in a packed format, okay, and you want to put it in a jar. Okay, so once you put it in a jar, what it provides you is, like, it will provide you a storage. It will give you a particular alignment. You will be able to store it in any place of your kitchen, right? So similar to that, Bootstrap container will work. It will provide you a margin. So for example, if I just before writing any code in my program, if I just use a class which is equal to container, what it will do is it will include any code, and it will provide a margin, alignment, and more HTML elements in my pro. So basically what it does, it's a most it is basically used like an organizer in Bootstrap. So you'll be able to provide margin, padding, alignments, and organize things in your HTML code. Okay, so whenever you want to use container class, you have to use this keyword container followed by an equal to and in double quotes. Okay, I'll be sharing these slides also with you, so that it's like you'll be able to get a quick thing. Okay, and so as I told you here, if you see, there are a lot of if you look onto the official page of Bootstrap here, you'll see a lot of components available here, right? So I'll show you grid and flex. So here you can see grid, right? Just open it on the official page. Here you'll be able to see grid, how grid works. It has 6 breakpoints. Grid, so I like, just because like this is very informative and it has a lot more content than my slide, that's why I just thought of showing you on the official page, where you'll be able to see grid. Okay, so if you want to use grid in your program, just simply copy paste the framework from here and just paste it. So you'll be having flex as well somewhere. Just find out flex yourself. But yeah, there are a lot of components. For example, navbar is one component, accordion is one component, badge is another component. So grid and flex is nothing but one component of Bootstrap. Okay, so what Bootstrap grid is about, I'll tell you. Okay, so Bootstrap grid is used for layout, specifically responsive layouts. Okay, it is made up of grouping of columns, and there are 12 columns across the page. Okay, so what grid would do is, let me just see, where can I pointer option, pen. Okay, so what grid does it, so if you'll open the, and if you'll try to study grid from the official page, you'll get more detailed information, but I'll try to give a brief overview here. So what Bootstrap will consider is, like, for example, consider this as an entire web page. Okay, so what it will do is it will divide your entire page into 12 equal columns. Okay, so it will create one column, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. But what it will do is it will be equal columns. Okay, so for example, if Ramya wants to display any content, so for example, she wants to display one image here and the other image here. Okay, so it would be like, if she wants to display it into 50:50 ratio. Okay, forget this. If she is willing to display into 50:50 ratio, so what she'll do is, like, since the page is divided into 12 columns, so she'll choose a ratio of 6:6. Okay, so similar to this, like if you'll display one image here, one second image here, similar to that, any screen in grid is divided into 12 columns, and accordingly, if you want to place your components there, you'll be able to see. Okay, and then grid has breakpoints. Okay, so as I told you, for example, if you're writing your code for phones only, okay, so you'll be using this class which is XS, which is extra small, and then this will be for screens less than 768 pixel wide. Okay, and then SM would be for tablets, which will be for screens equal to greater than on 768 pixels wide. MD would be for medium, for small laptop screens. LG for laptops and desktops. And then the classes above can be combined to create more dynamic layouts. See, these are some of the breakpoints. We have double XL also. If you look into the official page, we have XL also, but I have included just some common four classes for grid. So XS we have, SM we have, MD we have, and then LG we have. Okay, so these are the breakpoints. So maybe I because grid is one of the most popular component and or flex, so that's why you may get a question somewhere related to what are the breakpoints available. So you should know that it is XS, SM, MD, LG, something like this on your fingertips. Okay, so this is how my code will look like. Okay, as I told you, inside my container I'll be filling all the things. Okay, so starting point, I started with div class container, and then we all know how to create a row, how to create a column in our HTML code. So we'll be writing div class row to create a row, and then inside my row what will be I'll be having is, so here in my program what I'm trying to do is I'm having three partitions here. Okay, 1 2 3. So this is 4, this is 4, and this is 4. So it is, which is equaling me to 12. Okay, so in my first section I'm writing example 1. In my first section I'm writing example 1 and program, first program. In the second section I'm writing this example 2 and second program. In the third section I'm writing example 3 and third program. Okay, so this is, and then here if you can see, call hyphen sm hyphen 4. Okay, so anybody can tell me what this sm is here? Okay, I'll ask you a question now. What this sm indicates, I just covered this in previous slide. What is this sm? Anyone here? What is this sm? In this particular code here, as I explained now, what is sm here? Call hyphen.
Like it's used for tablets or something.
Yes, Ramya, you're correct. It is used for tablets, or it is S basically denotes for smaller screens.
Yes.
Yeah, correct. So we are done with SM. Okay, so you can use here. So as I told you, we have SM for tablets, XS for phones, MD for small laptops, LG for laptops and desktops. So instead of SM there, you can use MD, you can use LG, you can use any of them. So let me, like, just for just an example, I just don't want you, all of you, to restrict to a smaller view. You can just go here and then you can see what are the breakpoints available on the official page. See here, we have extra large, we have double XL available. So here also you will be able to see how they are dividing their page. So if you want to use grid, you can just simply copy paste this code. I just made this program just to have like quicker understanding. That's why that program was small. Similar to this, you can see in this image as well for grid which I had. What it is doing is it is dividing my web page into 12 spans. Okay, so what it does is basically it will consider your entire page into 12 columns. And then we have flex, which is for flexible layout. So what was happening in grid was, like, every time whenever you are considering your screen, and then if you want to put something on your screen, you just have to, you were considering it as like a span of 12, and then you are placing your elements. But in flex it will provide you some ready to made classes. Okay, so for example, if I want to put 3 items here, so you just have to write div flex item 1, item 2, item 3, and this would be the class available. Dev hyphen flex p3 means paragraph 3, bg secondary, text right I'm considering. So there are some more classes also. For example, if I want to paste my content into reverse, so d hyphen flex, flex hyphen rows, or reverse. So similar to that, you'll get a more detailed idea on the Bootstrap official page here. It's not a bigger document. If anybody, it's I think it's just a one-day task. If anybody wants to cover Bootstrap, you can just see. If you want to have a ratios, how you'll create ratios, you can just copy this content and paste in your notepad document after importing. Okay, So let me. So we have, as I told you, we have the last topic in this slide is hyperlink. I just thought of covering hyperlink because I thought that while importing the CDN, you'll be asking what this href is. So in HTML, you can click on a link and jump to another document, and then you can move this mouse over the link. So for example, if I click on this abcd.com, it will be redirecting me to this particular actual website. Okay, so let me just cover 2-3 programs now. Okay, so I'll just give another view. So for example, let me consider this program first. Okay, so I'm writing this code from scratch. Okay, let me just copy this. Okay, so what I have done is I have written a header. Okay, and then what I have done is I have written a head in the header section of my code. What I'll do is I'll go here on the official website. I'll copy this CDN. Okay, I'll paste this CDN in my code. I'll hit enter. I'll paste this another CDN into my code. Okay, I've pasted this 2 CDNs available. Then what I'll do is I'll close the header section of my program. Okay, guys, this much is understandable. Do not what I'll say. Do not judge the program by just seeing the its complexity level. It's just very easy. It is having like normal. It is just copy paste, right? So whenever if anybody is willing to write what do we say, if anybody is willing to write a bootstrap code, you just have to import this. Or even easier, if you want to just install these packages, you just have to go on your Linux machines and use this code, and then you can have this installation doc read also. It will have all this installation steps available. Okay, the current version is 5.3.3. okay, and then let me go on to my page here. I have closed the header section of my program. So as we know, the main content will fall into the body section. So I've started my body. So what I'll do is, as I told you, whenever writing any program, which we just put entire things in our container. Okay. So as I told you, what I'll do is I'll write div, then class is equal to container, and inside my container, I'll writing all those things. Okay. So I have written container here. I'll create a row. So div class is equal to row. Okay. I have written row. And then as Ramya told, SM is for tablets. So what I'll do is I'll use the SM font. Okay. So div class is equal to call hyphen SM hyphen 4. Okay. So we are out of this. And then for example, in this particular section, what I'm writing is like as we saw in the code display in the presentation, what I write is example and then header close /h2. And then what I'll do is here let's write in paragraph annotation as well first. Then I'll close this paragraph tag as well, and then I'll close my div /div. Okay, so we are done. So similar to this, what I'll do is I'll copy paste the code again. Okay, what I'll do is I'll copy this entire, not from div class container, I'll copy this div class row. Okay, I'll copy paste because I need to make 3 sections, right? This would be second, and then again it would be 4 because I want to make it a count of 12, right? So 4 3s are 12, div class, and then this would be third. Okay, so we are done till here. Let's just write. Nobody even corrected because I have written here div. We have to write div, right? So what I'll do is I'll close the other above divs. You can even choose to, what do we say, you can even use Notepad++ or some other tools available. So what it does is like it will give you this closing tags automatically. Okay.
Ma'am, you went for the first example also, you write
Yes.
this possibilities.
Yeah. Now it is correct. I don't know who this was, guys. Who it was, Ramya, I believe, or
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ramya. I'm glad that you're a bit attentive now. /body. /html. Okay, so we're done with our program. Okay, so let me save. File save as. Let me save into desktop. Bootstrap. What I'll save it with today.html. Okay, save. Let me go to my files. Where is today? Let me refresh it. Yeah. Okay, so you're able to see, right? We have example one, div call hyphen. I think there is some issue with the code because it should be displayed in this fashion, not in this fashion. 1 second, let me check. What is the issue with the code? Div class container, div class row, div class call hyphen sm hyphen 4h2 div. I don't know what is the issue here, but if you write a code like this, it will give you. Let me run this example. Example one, Bootstrap. I think the framework was not imported. Let me try import this again, because it will work in this way if it is not if the CDNs are not imported properly, or if there's an issue with the version. Let me use only one CDN and see. Okay, I was just editing it here. Let me just edit the CDNs first. Control S. Let me rerun. I think the CDNs was not imported properly. 1 second, let me import it again in my notepad. Control S. Then again rerun it from here. No guys, I think the CD, there's some issue with this 5.3.3 version. Okay, that's why it was not running. Or what we can do is, I think the original code. Let me match it with here if it is same or not. I think call hyphen sm hyphen 4 I wrote here. Call hyphen sm hyphen.
Ma'am, actually, you didn't mention example 1, 2, or 3, I guess.
No, I
Exactly,
guess this is
example
just a hidden, right? It won't make any difference here even if I change.
2. Okay.
See, I just changed it to any other thing, and I did Control S. Let me go to the edge. No, it just changed. Because if how I can verify that my CDNs are not working on this particular thing, because if it would work, it would give me a fashion, and it would be something like this. How you can see in this particular example I run, right? Example 1, example 3. It will divide my entire screen into 3 sections, and then in that way it would work. Anyhow, I'll see how why the CDNs are not working here. Okay, because in this program, if you'll see, this was my previous thing. Let me just save this once and see if the changes are saved to example 1 or Bootstrap or not. Yes, 5.3.3 CDN is working perfectly with this program, but not with that. What I'll do is let me copy this thing to see if there is an issue from here. Yeah, it is correct only. First program. This though I copied right now from there. Okay, no worries. I'll tell you, okay, in the next session what was the issue with that code. Or there's some issue, I believe, like because the code is running perfectly, if there's an issue with the HTML code, what it would do is it would not like this was my context of the program, right? It is the program is running fine, but the bootstrap thing is not working here in this page. It is just giving me a normal example. Okay, so no worries. I have this program. I just wanted to explain you how to do this. So guys, so for example, if you want to use any kind of component available on this page, okay, so you just have to copy paste bootstrap and parcel, for example. So you just have to copy paste this thing, project structure and everything in your code, and then just use it. So for example, if I want to use this component, which is as I told you, progress or pagination or nav bar, for example. If you want to have a nav bar, you just have to copy paste this entire content in your in your HTML code, Control C. Go to your HTML code, because this was working for me. What I'll do is in this dev section, which was the last third dev section, I'll just paste this. Okay, Control S this program. You'll be able to see the navigation bar in the third section. Okay, let me just rerun. So for example, you're able to see here, right? In the first section, I just pasted this list drop down. So it just gave me a ready-made list of items available, something like this code. In the second thing, if you notice while running the presentation, I just copied the component of a drop down button and it gave me this. In the third div, what I did was I just copy pasted these items of a navigation bar. So for example, if you're developing a web page and if you want to have a navigation bar for drop down, disabled, home, link, so you can easily go to the bootstrap page and then just copy paste. So for example, if you want a carousel, if you want a card, if you want a button group, for example, so you can just copy this code. So for example, if you want left, middle, right, something like this, just copy paste this code after importing the CDN and this should work. Okay, and one more important thing which was left was, so for example, your code is ready, right? And I told you like Bootstrap works in a similar fashion in all these programs, blah blah. So how you'll come to know that it is in a similar fashion? It will show me in a similar fashion on an iPhone, on an Samsung Galaxy Plug. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to click on this inspect button. Guys, this is visible, right? This inspect button.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to click on inspect button here. Okay, and then after clicking on this inspect button, what you have to do is you have to click on this dimension pixel. Okay, so if you'll see here, right, you'll be able to see in iPad Air also my particular web page will look in a similar way. If I open this in an iPhone 12 Pro, it will look in a similar fashion. Okay, if you look into Pixel 7, it will again look into a similar fashion. And if you see, nothing is changing. Not my example one is not mixing with example two, or it's overlapping each other. Okay, so if you see in any particular thing, if if you're using Bootstrap, so it will make your website mobile. It will make you mm, enable this particular feature. See, if you see in iPhone SE, which was the oldest version on iPhone, so in that phone also you'll see that nothing would change. In iPad Air, if you see, so this is one of the most advantages of grid and flex in Bootstrap. It will make you like it will enable you to see similar fashion in everywhere. So for example, even if you run this program or open this particular HTML link in your in a bigger screen, which is tablet or Surface Duo or anything, so you'll see here nothing would change. Okay, guys, like was this topic clear, and was this clearer to all of you, like what is Bootstrap, how to use Bootstrap, what is Bootstrap all about, what are the Bootstrap CDNs available?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what I'll do is let me just ask a quicker question to all of you. So what is the Bootstrap current version available? So while this entire presentation, I was just focusing on the Bootstrap versions, and even in the CDNs which I imported, I told you what are the versions. So like what is the current version of Bootstrap?
5.3.3.
5.3.
5.3.3.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and then the second question would be, what are the how you'll use Bootstrap in your program? There are two ways I told you, right? You can use Bootstrap in your codes. Even if anybody is okay, even one way would do for me. How you'll use Bootstrap in your HTML codes?
Through CDN.
Yes, correct. And the second way?
Through package manager.
Package.
Yes, correct. So all these things, I'll share my screen again. Okay. So all these things you'll get this on the official Bootstrap page, which is getbootstrap.com. Okay, so you'll go once you go on this page. This is the most important thing. Just copy this CDN in the header section of your code and use it. Okay, and then you can use it. You can install this using npm package manager and then use it. Okay, so these are the two ways. And then how you'll get the ready-made templates, you have to click on docs, and then here you can use anything. For example, you can click on containers, which I told you today. Okay, so as I told you, if you want to use container, you have to use div class container. Responsive containers we have with small breakpoint, large breakpoint, extra large breakpoint. Okay, so I think it was easier for you, and now you don't have any, like, you just have, now you have a basic understanding of what Bootstrap is, what are the versions available in Bootstrap. So if anybody asks you, at least you'll be able to say 5 to 10 lines of Bootstrap and you'll be able to complete the task given by the HR, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Apurva, for confirming. Thank you, Ramya, as well. I think you were very interactive throughout the session. Even Sneha was interactive. So thank you, guys. Those of you who was not able to join, I guess the meeting recording would be available to you. And then for any particular queries, you can reach out to me. Okay, and then I'll be able to help you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, guys. Bye bye.